My friend David Jin was going to a place and the guy, a regular comedy show, and the guy who runs it, I won't name him, but the guy who runs it kept making this COVID joke all the time, and he would always look directly at David as he said it to make sure that David was giving him the go-ahead, and David was the only Asian guy in the room every time. And it was like David's like first couple of months of comedy.
Oh, cool, too.
Yeah,
so he was like, oh, this is fun.
Yeah, David was like, oh, this is what it's going to be
like.
like.
Oh, okay, so this is what, yeah.
Exactly. It's good times. Cool. All right, let's give it a go. So, I am super excited to have my friend Alia Bajorek on the show. Not only do I love Alia, I actually love her mom even more because her mom has great taste. I've got a joke where there's a punch and then there's a tag, and everybody likes the tag better except her mom. Your mom liked the original punch so better that you texted me a picture of her.
She was still laughing 20 minutes later when we were at dinner, and she and I quote went, "Now that's just funny." She wanted to say hi too.
Tell her I said hi. I wish my parents liked my comedy as much as you. They don't
I
hate
wish
my comedy.
my mom liked my comedy as much as she likes your one joke. She's like, "No, that is good."
Someday you're gonna have a joke, and she's gonna come up to you, and she's gonna be, "That is good. That is gooder than."
It's almost as good.
Salsa means salsa.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. How long have you been doing comedy for?
Started doing stand-up when I was 16. I got into it because I was doing pageants at the time, actually.
Sure.
And then a pageant coach that my mom recruited. This is such a ridiculous story. So my mom was taking improv classes at our gym. This is what I'm saying. This is a ridiculous story.
Where are you at this time?
Rochester.
Okay.
Upstate New York.
All right.
Upstate New York, Rochester. My mom decided to do a improv class because she was spending so much time at the gym with my brother playing basketball, and then she just did not show up to like any of them. I think she went to one, and then she's like leaving as the improv teacher is walking in. So she's like, they interlap, and he's like, "Oh, are you coming to class? That's the last one." And she's like, yeah, no, of course. Just have to like get something from my car. And he's like not believing it at all. And then she goes, does the last class, which is also maybe her second. And then for some reason, at this time, I was getting ready for Miss New York's Outstanding Teen.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I was 4th runner-up the year before, so I was like hardcore prepping. And my mom, for some reason, at the end of her last improv class, went up to him and was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about coaching pageants?" And he was, exactly. And he was like, "No, but I'd be interested." Because it's like for the interview portion, you gotta be quick on your feet. So then I was like working with this guy, his name was Law. He was great. He was just helping me like be faster at answering questions. But I'm also like some of the practice questions we were doing, I was responding in like, they'd be like, if there was like a window to your soul, what would you see? And I'm like, I would just be like, I hated the questions, and I would just like fuck around basically.
I just want to second that you are. Story totally rings true now that you mentioned that.
I'm my father's daughter, Ivan. So then pageant came and went, did not place, did not, it's fine.
They were just jealous of how hot you were.
Well, here's the thing. Actually, this is actually insane. Ready? Me and this other girl were the only two from the year before. I was 4th runner-up that year, she was 1st runner-up. So I was like in 5th place, she was in 2nd place.
Okay.
She literally just got crowned Miss USA.
Wow.
Like this past week, because she was 1st runner-up at Miss USA, and then Miss USA went to Miss Universe, and the former Miss USA is now Miss Universe, so now the girl that is the current Miss USA was at this time
the runner-up.
She was the runner-up the year before, but me and her, neither one of us placed this 2nd year.
Okay.
Like, didn't even make top 5.
So...
And she's Miss USA right now.
Yeah, so basically what we can say is, of girls from the state of New York, you're only 3 girls less hot than Miss USA right now.
I guess.
Yeah. All right, you're crushing it. Good job.
Nice.
Nice.
Anyways, the whole point of that was, she's Miss USA, I'm doing stand-up comedy in New York City, but...
I can't wait for your guys' buddy road comedy 5 years from now.
I'm like, I should probably message her after this. See how she's doing. She's probably doing so many of that though, because now she's Miss USA.
Yeah.
So now everyone's probably like, "Oh my god, hey, that's all."
She's waiting for yours.
She
like, still tells the story.
She's like, "I haven't heard from Alia in a really long time."
This one time, this girl Alia and I, we both got through the pageant the first time, and then the next year we didn't get it.
Next year we did it.
Now she's a comic in New York.
Literally, if it wasn't for that pageant, I would not be doing stand-up because then the guy that was helping me with coaching with all the improv was like, hey, I know you're so distraught right now about this pageant, but have you ever thought about doing stand-up? Like, I think it could work. And I was like, okay. I was like, I do think I'm funny, but I think I'm funny in a way that, like, I'm laughing hysterically at myself, and then everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, I like always describe myself like, I don't think I was the class clown, but I would, like, whisper things, and then, like, the person that could hear me whispering things to myself would, like, laugh, and everyone would be like, what is happening? Because it was like, I was saying it to myself.
Yeah.
And then they just, like, heard it.
Yeah. But I think that a lot of comics are like, I mean,
yeah.
You were trying to figure out what it is that's so funny about you, and then highlight it for an audience. And there's so many failures and mistakes along the way.
Right.
But then they'll laugh at something strange, and you're like, why did they laugh at that?
Right. And then you just, like, keep going.
Yeah, you just keep finding yourself. It's really like a journey of discovery of how much self-loathing you have.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, I think you realize that, like, I'll just be, like, describing an experience that I've had to someone, like, thinking it's a common thing.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So it's like, I think you also really learn when you're doing comedy how different people perceive the world.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking one time about a friend, I was like, oh, like, I'm hungry, but I just don't feel like chewing right now. And she was literally like, what did you just say? I'm like, you know when you just, like, don't want to chew? And she was like, no, I've never once had that experience in my life. I'm like, that's just too much work. Like, I know I need food, it's just that motion I don't want to do. Like, I feel like a lot of the time I'm finding stuff like that where I say something that I think is a very common experience.
Yeah.
And then from there, and I think that's what happened.
And I think what's really funny is even though it's the actual thing that you're saying isn't relatable, the idea of being too tired to do something is,
yeah.
So it becomes relatable in a way.
It's also like a little ridiculous that it's like, it's chewing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm too lazy to throw it into the microwave. That's my thing, not necessarily chewing.
Yeah. No, sometimes I'll, like, be in bed and be like, oh, I'm so hungry. I could go get anything in my fridge right now. I'm like, or I could just go to bed right now. Or I could just fall asleep. And then I don't even have to...
I can't believe you didn't win any pageants with that eating desire that you have. Just no desire to eat because it's too much work.
It was a lot of...
Oh my god!
No, it's so bad.
So, Alia, you shared 5 really fun traumas with me. I mean, they're fun for me because I didn't experience them. Can we start with your grandma?
Oh, yeah. Not a funny story. But I think what's bad about all mine is they were so bad at the moment, but now I, like, tell these stories, I'm cracking up about them,
yeah.
And people are like, that's not funny at all. So my grandma's house got robbed, like, real hard, like, very badly robbed.
What are we talking about?
So, like, we don't even know what got taken, basically, because she was living by herself at the time. We would pick her up every weekend and go up to our cottage. And, like, it was, like, a way to, like, get her, like, out and about more.
This is in northern New York?
Yeah, upstate. Okay. So we have a place on Lake Ontario that we would go in the winter, in the summer, like, every weekend, and it was kind of, like, our way to make sure she was, like, doing okay.
Yeah.
She was living by herself, like, a few towns over, so we would just, like, pick her up, and it was, like, a non-negotiable. But she was, like, she had a tank, so she was, like, on oxygen, not great at walking, was just in her living room, like, all the time.
Okay.
Would go to the kitchen, make ramen, like, just wasn't very, like, active. So then one time...
Very relatable for me.
Yeah. So, apparently these guys came, like, knocking on her door one day, and the story is, they were like, hey, like, we noticed that outside needs, like, a little bit of repair. We would love to do that. We'd love to help. So she did not console my father at all. It was kind of just like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's work for Ronnie. Because my dad was, like, doing, like, all this stuff around the house, like, keeping it up, and she's like, well, he doesn't need to do any more work. These guys will do it.
Yeah.
So they were, like, out there, I feel like, just hitting the house with hammers. Like, they were not doing anything. And then basically one weekend, she was like, hey, just so you know, my son is going to take me out of town this weekend. But you can come in and do whatever you want. Like, she was literally like, just come by, work on the house, like, whatever. So that we're away for the weekend. She literally never told us that these people were working on her house. So we come back, and then the garage door opens, and my mom is sitting in the front seat. My mom moved to the front seat. My dad is, like, walking my grandma in. And my mom is just so silent. And it's, like, me and my brother in the back seat. And my mom is just, like, she's like, looking at the garage, and she's looking at my dad and my grandma walking into the house, and like they were like 3 steps up, and like my mom just goes, "Hey, where's Virgie's car?" And I just like, I don't even know what I was saying. I just kind of look and I go, "Where is her car?" And then my mom just like gets out of the car, goes running inside. My dad's helping my grandma like sit down on the couch. They're still oblivious. Like they don't even realize. And then my mom goes inside and she looks in the living room and she's like, "Hey, Virgie, where's your TV?" Like literally she was like sitting down on the couch getting ready and no one had realized that an entire TV was missing. No one realized her car was missing. No one realized anything was missing. And it was like, it's such a funny thing now because it's like, how did they not notice? But it's sad because like she wasn't upstairs a lot. We don't really know what they like actually took. So it's like, there are all these things. But then so the car was like fully stolen, and it was actually really good that there were 2 cars in the garage, and one of my dad's grandfather's like 1960 something Corvette.
Oh, wow.
So the people just didn't know how to drive that kind of car, or like didn't know where the keys were, is what I'm assuming. But then my grandma's car was like a 1996 Buick, and it had like 60,000 miles on it. It was like in great condition. It was probably gonna be like my first car.
Yeah.
Because she should have never had a license like to begin with.
Sure.
Like she just could not drive well at all, and the car had no miles on it, and it was just gone. So then they finally like police report, like all that stuff happens. My grandma ended up moving in with us, which was like a really good thing.
Thank God those guys robbed her.
Thank God they robbed. No, because I literally, me and my mom talked
Yeah.
about this the other day. She probably lived an extra 8 years, like because
Wow.
she moved in with us.
Yeah.
Like we like rearranged our whole house, moved the kitchen upstairs, so it was like easier for her.
Sure.
And she was so stubborn, she was not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then she got robbed, because like if she was home, that would have been a nightmare. But so finally, like police reports, all that stuff. It's the car. They're like, we get a call. They found the car. It got dropped off at like a dealership or something, and they stole another car because they like couldn't get that one. The 96 Buick wasn't cutting it anymore. I think they stole like a pickup truck so they could go rob a Best Buy or something like that. So we finally get the car back.
Yeah.
And so at the time too, my mom also had a Buick that was deteriorating. So we got the car back, my grandma's Buick, and the cops were like, "Oh yeah, there were a ton of drugs in the back, like a lot of crack. Like we like found all of this. Like the guys that robbed her, very much drug addicts, not good. Like they were driving it like crazy." And they gave us the car back, and my dad literally like found like a baggie, like empty, but like a little dime baggie in the back still.
Yeah.
And then from that day on, we had 2 cars. We had the Buick, and then we had the crackhead Buick. And my dad would literally refer to it as a crackhead Buick, and he was like, it never drove the same after those crackheads took it. Yeah. And that's when my grandma got robbed. But that's not a funny story, but I tell that story, and
It's a pretty funny story.
It's hysterical.
And also, there's a happy ending. Your grandma lived 8 years
She
longer.
lived a lot longer, like all that. She like
Yeah.
moved in with us, but like ended up being like very good.
Yeah, and I like to imagine you guys got to keep all of the drugs they left in the car.
I think they were all empty bags. I was still young. I think I was like a freshman in high school.
No, the cops definitely took it for themselves.
Cops
Oh, they're empty bags.
How did they leave bags in the car is my question. Like, isn't that good evidence? Like, wouldn't you need that? Yeah, and then the crackhead Buick never drove the same after.
You pick your hat up just a little bit so it doesn't, I just don't want to get shadows on your face. I don't
And
know.
I also take it off.
Oh, that's fine too.
I won't look like a trucker anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great look for you, but just don't want shadows on your face.
That's better, it makes sense.
Cool. That, it may not be funny to you, but it's definitely funny to me.
I think it's hysterical, but there have been many occasions where I've told that story to someone and they're like, that's not funny, why are you laughing? Like, was it okay?
And that's okay.
Fine.
That's
yeah.
You know, that's how they get to think.
I think it's hysterical. How do you not notice when an entire car is missing? My mom was the only one. Like, I saw the garage door go up.
Well, and the TV.
And the TV, yeah. I didn't
just
go
sitting
inside.
there.
But I literally, like, I saw the garage door go up, and I watched them walk in. And my mom was truly just like, in the front, I'm like, what? Why are you looking at it weird? They do this every weekend. Just this silent, like, where's her car? And then in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe she went to Wegmans. Like, I'm like, it's not here.
Next story you gave me was about your aunt. Which aunt is it? I know
It's my
you have the
mom's
mean aunts.
sister. She's a little mean. It's my mom's older sister,
Okay.
Marsha.
I mean, I'm the one judging that she's mean for the stories you've told. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Marsha. she. I love her very deeply.
Oh.
Hi, Marsha. Love you. You can be mean sometimes. I'll say that to her face too. She's the one that last time I did a show back home, she came up to me afterwards and she said, "Hey, better luck next time."
Yeah, that's why I said she's mean.
Yeah, no, it's not a nice thing to say to somebody.
After
but I
you
think
just
she
walk off
said
stage.
it as a joke.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was like a miscommunication of humor, but I was also like, or you could be nice to me. That'd be cool. Maybe
Yeah.
if you were nice to me once.
It's not the best time to make a joke.
Yeah, I was like, I was being vulnerable on stage. I was telling jokes that I wrote that I thought were funny
Yeah.
for an audience, and that's a little scary for some
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely.
And it's scary for me, and
Well, and people
especially in front of family.
Yeah.
Shows in front of family, nightmare.
It's the worst. I did a show at my dad's rabbi's house, and I didn't know they were going to have kids there. And my jokes are a little bit dark and a little bit blue. And it was very uncomfortable for everyone.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So, anyways, you have a story about your mean aunt.
Yeah, it's like one of my first childhood memories.
How old were you?
I think it was before my brother was born. So I was like 3 or 4, I'm assuming.
Okay.
And we were just, it's so vivid in my head. We were like in the back seat of like a cab somewhere. I'm sitting on her lap. And I was like a relatively smart kid. I peaked mentally probably back then. But she just turned to me. She goes, "Hey, Alia, how do you spell brat?" And I go, B-R-A-T. And then she said, "No, it's A-L-I-A." I'm a child. What? Okay, first of all, I did get it right. I spelled it right. And she she stands by that joke. Like to this day. I'm like, Marsha, I was 3 or 4. I was truly a child. And then I tried to make that joke one time. I was like, "Oh, how do you spell like stupid?" And then she said it, and then I went, "No, it's M-A-R-C-I-A." And she went, "Actually, that doesn't work." She's like, "Because brat works because it's 4 letters, and Alia is 4 letters."
But stupid and Marcia are 6
they?
letters. M-A-R-C-I-A.
Okay, well then I guess I didn't say stupid. That would have worked in her terms. I said something. Or maybe it was like mean. She was like, "That actually doesn't work." And I was like, "I didn't realize there were rules to this game where you bully me. I didn't realize that it's only cool when you do it, Marsha." And she's like, "Why have you known over that yet?" I'm like, "Because I was a child." Because it's one of my earliest memories, is you calling me a brat. And I wasn't. I was sitting in the seat of a car on your lap. What?
So, how did that affect...
I think that I'm a lot more defensive with jokes. No, I don't know. I think I can joke to an extent, but I love, again, Marsha dearly. She can dish it, she can't take it.
Oh.
So I think that I now align myself a lot more with people that can dish it but also take it, and I think I'm someone now that can dish it and also take it.
Nice. If you're watching this on YouTube, please comment in the comments with different roasts for Marsha that Alia can show her later on. Nothing too offensive.
It's gonna be mean.
Only mildly offensive. Okay? Thank you, guys. What about your dad in Chicago?
This one was a nightmare. We were driving. I lived in Chicago for 4 years.
Yeah.
This was
This is during college?
so I did community college for a year and a half, and then I did Columbia College Chicago for a year and a half.
Okay.
And then I stuck around Chicago for an extra 3 years. And it was improv, sketch, that kind of thing. But this was, I don't know if it was, it had to have been beginning of the pandemic, because I was nannying at the time. I just moved in with a family I nannied for. And I went home for Thanksgiving, and my dad was driving my car back to Chicago. I don't know why he was coming. I have no idea why my dad was coming to Chicago. I have zero.
Lately you've had time to prepare for this story. You knew what you were going to tell.
Yeah, no, I literally...
This part you're just surprised by.
No, I
Yeah.
have no idea what the main goal was.
I've got a lot of stories like this too, where I just don't have facts or details, and I'm not going to make them up.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
I could have easily just been he had something to do in Chicago. No, I have zero idea why he was in Chicago.
He was coming to visit his daughter Alia, who lives in
But
Chicago.
I was in the car with him.
Oh.
We were driving to Chicago.
Right.
And my parents love to do this thing. My parents are both insurance agents. So insane driving. Like, they refuse to let me ever be behind the wheel if they're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad has, like, cataracts. My dad is blind. Like, he cannot see, and he also cannot hear. Like, he's just aging. You have to, like, yell when you're talking to him, and it's fine. But so we're driving to Chicago, and we're in Ohio, and Ohio's the worst part of the drive from upstate New York to Chicago.
I think Ohio's just the worst part of America outside of Florida.
Indiana.
Okay.
Indiana's bad too.
Fair enough.
Ohio is just so wide.
Yeah.
So the most of the drive from Rochester to Chicago is in Ohio, and you're like, I start switching because you're like, it's all just ugly too. Like, there's nothing there, and it's like gas station. So we were driving through Cleveland, and I'm giving my dad directions, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna keep left at the fork. I'm like giving him like a heads up. I'm like, left at the fork, and he can't hear.
Yeah.
Like, keep left at the fork. I finally had to like scream it as he's like literally going the opposite way, and I finally scream like, left at the fork, and then he like goes like this with the wheel, goes into like the middle area. It had just like snowed feet. Like, so that there was a huge chunk of snow in the middle of it.
I just got the dumbest visual when you said it just snowed feet. And I thought, what?
Literally.
Is that a phrase?
Like, it was a very heavy snowstorm.
It was raining hands and snowing feet. So, okay, so it rained very... It
snowed a lot, and, like, the roads were completely clear, but there was still, like, snow left.
Yeah.
And my dad just hits this snowbank, and it was, like, enough that my car could go over it, but it was scraping everything underneath. Like, we're driving, and his options were either hit the snowbank or hit the car going 80 miles an hour.
Mm.
So he made the right decision.
Yeah.
Hands down, correct decision to make.
Except he's blind, so who knows if he thought the snowbank wasn't just another car.
No, he's like a great driver, though.
Okay.
He's so, because like he used to like do like motorcycles, like he's a motorcycle and car guy, so he's good at driving. He just like needs to get his eyes and his ears checked. I trust him driving. I don't trust him when he doesn't know where he's going. And I was like, please let me drive. And he was like, no. It's the snowbank. We're cruising on top of it. Like,
yeah.
Cars just moving down it. He finally gets us, like, so we can go into the other lane. And we're driving, and it's, like, 3 minutes, and we're both kind of, like, we, like, decompress after that terrifying experience.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of like, oh, well, that's good. Like, nothing's wrong with the car. Like, that's so surprising. We're driving, and then all of a sudden smoke starts coming out of the front, like the hood of my car. And he's like, that's probably not good. And I'm like, no. So then we're like driving, we're in Cleveland. We like get off the next exit, but the exit is like, it felt like we drove into like a park. Like it was just like a whole lot of nothing.
Okay.
And then so we're like driving, and then we just end up in like, not the nicest area of Cleveland.
Oh, you mean Cleveland?
Yes.
All of Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland isn't known for being the best city in the world. But we're like driving, and we have to pull over like every few minutes because the engine is overheating.
Yeah.
So we like pull over, let the car cool down, and then go again. And we're just doing this until we like can find a place to get my car fixed. And then my dad finds like a tire shop. And he's like, Alia, stay in the car. I'm gonna go talk to these guys. So I'm just like sitting in the car, texting my mom, letting her know what's going on. And this one guy comes over and like looks at the car. And he's like, oh, we could definitely help you with that. And my dad's like, okay, cool. He's like, and then the guy's like, go talk to that guy. And then my dad goes and talks to the other guy. And the guy was like, oh, he doesn't work here. He's kind of like a crackhead that hangs out. So my dad gets in the car and he's like, all right, well, this wasn't the place, because they were like, we can't do that. It's a tire shop.
Yeah.
Like,
we're just here to change tires.
Literally. He's like, we don't have the means for this. I'm so sorry what like our resident crackhead told you, but no, we can't do that. So then my dad's just like getting angrier and angrier and angrier. I'm like, who do I know that is like from Cleveland that can like help us? I'm like trying to just figure stuff out. We finally end up, like my mom gets involved. She's like, we gotta go, like you just gotta get the car here and it's gonna be like fine. So we get the car there, and then we had to get a rental car.
Yeah.
But my dad obviously wasn't thinking, oh, let me bring my credit card in case I need to make a big purchase. What? So my dad only had a debit card with him, and you cannot rent a car with a debit card. So I had a credit card, so I was like, here, use this. And they were like, oh, so then you're going to be the one renting the car. And I'm like, no, because I'm
not 25
not
yet.
25.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 21 maybe. And they're like, oh, okay, no, like that's fine. There's just going to be like a slight upcharge. $800. They wanted $800 for me to rent the car.
Why didn't your mom just go online and type in the credit card information? This isn't
They
that many years ago.
No, it wasn't, but they were like, we need a physical card with your name on it. And like it was like a whole nightmare situation. My dad's like fuming because my dad's like not handling it well. And
Yeah.
because he's like, you should have just told me the directions. I'm like, no, I did. You just can't hear. But it's like not the time and the place to like do that. But then he was like, we ended up getting the car. We like got a tow to like the place where it ended up getting fixed.
Yeah.
The straw, I think that like broke the camel's back though. It's like we both were like, hey, do you have a bathroom that we can use? And they're like, nope. And then we like still had to like just keep going and like act like everything was like. My mom had to go back and get the car like with my dad because my dad went back to Chicago again, but he was driving. This was when I was moving out of Chicago, so he brought a trailer to put all my stuff in. And my mom went with him, and my mom, I got permission from my mom to tell this story, like this part of it. My mom was like, hey, Ron, can we pull over? Like, I have to go to the bathroom. In such a bad mood. He's like, no, we gotta just get you to Cleveland. My mom...
What's gonna happen? Oh my god! What? Feels like a Tom Green movie all of a sudden.
Shut her in the car. My dad just didn't notice. And she's like still driving. My mom was just sitting there like... She's texting me as it's going on. She's like, your dad's in a bad mood. He's not going to be happy when he gets into town. Because he was like driving 9 hours with like an empty trailer. That's not smart. You shouldn't do that because it's like the weight balance and everything. And my mom's literally like, it's not good for me over here. My mom was like a very sensitive stomach. She probably has IBS. She's like, he hasn't noticed yet. But he might. So it's so funny. My mom goes to pick up my car and she walks in. And the first thing she says is, do you have a bathroom? And then they were like, oh yeah, like right over there. Like she looked so sickly that she needed it so badly that they were like willing to like break all their rules. And then my dad came to pick me up and I literally like took Clorox wipes and I wiped down the seat. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, she didn't tell you. And then I told him, and he's like, I don't want to hear these stories about my wife. I didn't need to hear that.
I love how the story's about my wife and not the story about me not letting my wife go to the bathroom.
She didn't vocalize that it was going to be that bad.
Who cares if she says she needs to go to the bathroom, just stop the car.
No, well, my mom is also very much someone that, like, we do road trips and, like, because Rochester to New York City is 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
And she literally, she one time handed one of my friends a diaper. And, like, as a joke, it's like, you gotta go. And then my friend was too scared to say anything. So then my friend, like, did use the diaper. So it's, like, it's not like my mom is, like...
Your friend used the diaper? Do you hear yourself?
No, I
You're
do.
just saying these stories like they're totally normal.
Because that's what I'm saying, and that's why I think that my comedy is like it is. Because these were my, like, totally normal events that, like, are, like, a little, like, that moment when he was driving the car and then we're, like, on that thing. And then, like, we, like, finally it was, like, we were safe.
Yeah.
That is so terrifying. But I think that, like, very much with me, too, it's like, oh, this one awful thing happened, and then I'm laughing about it, like, 45 seconds later. Because it's just, I think, like, how I cope, and then, like, I am able to go from there.
No, it's the best way. I'm sensing the possible building of a pattern. 2 out of these 3 stories so far, your dad didn't notice something at all, and your mom did.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to worry, what happens if your mom passes before your dad?
No, both my parents are going to live forever.
Okay,
actually.
good, because I do not want to know what happens to your dad if your mom's not around.
No, every time I go home, I tell them both, I say, oh, you're going to live forever, and they go, okay, sure.
Nice.
And then I go, promise, and then they go, we're not going to make that promise, and then I go, that's not what I said. I said, you both are living forever, and that's the end of that.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm just going to pause it 1 second. I'm going to turn off the sound on my computer. I have no idea why it made that noise. Oh, because I got a text from my date for tomorrow, and for some reason it's hooked up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Potly lady from India. Yay. Yeah, cool. So you wrote anaphylactic shock and morphotex. I don't know if that's yours or if it's someone else's.
Wait, this one, like, because you were just saying, like, my mom notices things. This is literally just another one of my mom noticing something before, like...
Is this, well, before we move forward, is this better than the crashing a party boat? Should we save it for last?
Yeah, this one might be better than Crashing the Party Out.
All right. What is it? Murmur?
I feel like all of these are literally just, now that you pointed it out, they are all just mainly like someone being oblivious, then my mom being like, we need to do something about this.
No, your mom, very attentive because she noticed how funny that joke was. So.
So that's, and moving,
Yeah.
She also noticed that an entire car was missing from a garage where it's supposed to be.
Well, the rest of the
what
family.
A genius woman.
Yeah.
And then my mom's always like, my kids are so smart. I'm like,
are we?
She's like, you and Trip, geniuses.
I mean, compared to your dad in these stories.
Because my dad growing up was like, also like, my dad has some like ridiculous stories of like one time his friend like jump started his motorcycle for him, and then my dad was like still attached, and my dad literally just, and this is something that I do too, my dad was like trying to race him while their motorcycles were still attached, and then my dad just went like zooming forward and whipped the guy around. So like those are my dad's stories, and I feel like now my stories are like a good mix of like those two things.
Yeah.
But like I feel like half my stories too are like, oh, like I went to this place and I fell down the stairs so hard because I forgot how to walk, or like.
I almost did that last night.
Upstairs are a nightmare.
I was going upstairs and I felt my legs just start to kind of give out for a second. And
Like knees?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, oh no. And I hadn't done anything intense. Yeah. I did a little exercise, but nothing that intense. And then they were fine. So basically, Aaliyah, don't get old. Get old.
My body's already...
Jump in front of a car.
My body's deteriorating already.
Oh man.
Ballet ruins you.
Oh yeah. Did you do point?
Yeah.
Point, that's trauma right there.
Oh
my God.
I loved it though.
Really? My sisters wanted to do point, and I told my dad and stepmom, I said, under no circumstances.
No, I
any
loved
sisters of mine doing
It's
point.
weird. It's a weird thing because then you like grow to like the pain of point work.
Yeah. And
it's like, I was like trying to think of like a dance trauma story that would have impacted my comedy, and I went, no, these just made me sad. These, like, I'm like, maybe one day I'll get to the point where I can like joke. I have like a few little jokes about ballet, but like half of these stories I'm like just replaying in my head, I'm like still like traumatized. Like I still have like nightmares sometimes of like going back to like the dance studio I grew up at. Like, but I'm also like, oh, I love it. Like, I want my kids to do ballet. Like, I'm like, oh, if I didn't do ballet, I wouldn't be where I am now, but it's also like, oh no,
it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
A little bit. That's
dance class is like, Stockholm Syndrome.
I loved it.
I have one traumatic story about dance. I won't tell now, but I'll tell you sometime. I had to take it for theater school, and
I love it.
Yeah, loved it too. I loved it so much, but it's still a traumatic story. So, anyways, you are problematic on the water. You have issues on the water. There's 2 different times where you've had problems. Why do you think that is? Poseidon mad at you?
I don't know. I love the water. Like I feel like rejuvenated in the water.
Okay, good.
But I also feel like I have these 2, and then I'm like just thinking back. I have like a lot of very bad experiences with bodies of water.
Me too. I almost drowned in a riptide.
Oh, that one's so much worse than mine.
Okay,
mine was like I ran into some annoying people. Mine is like I was so sleepy tired, and then these annoying people came from the night before.
You're like, I wish a riptide would come
right
now and take me away from them.
Mine like one time I got really sunburned, and then I couldn't sit.
Oh my god. Oh no.
No, these ones, like I was mentioning, like every weekend we go up to our like cottage on the water, and we don't have a boat. It's now a rule that we don't have a boat. My dad's friend has a boat that he keeps at ours.
Okay.
It's Jerry's responsibility. It's not ours, because when we first got our cottage, my dad got a party boat.
Okay.
Like the huge pontoons. I think it could fit like 16 to 18 people.
Wow.
And me and my brother were still very young, because we got our cottage, I think, when my brother was when I was 5. So my brother was just born. So I was probably 6. My brother was probably like 1. And we all go out on this party boat. My dad brings all of his friends. My grandma's on this party boat. My dad's like 2 closest friends and their kids and their wives are on this party boat. And like, again, my grandma on oxygen. Like, on her, like, has her little tank with her.
People are coming up to her just grabbing for her. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, God, that's fresh air. Fresh air. No, so we go out.
How many people would you say?
12 to 14.
Okay, that's a lot of people.
And, like, 6 of them were children. 1 of them was a very elderly woman.
I'm traumatized right now.
And we go out on this boat, and so Lake Ontario gets so insanely choppy, and our cottage is on a bay that you like can take a channel out onto Lake Ontario.
Okay.
We go out onto Lake Ontario. We're talking like 4 or 5 foot waves, like significant waves happening. And there's this place called the Chimney Bluffs, and they're so pretty. And it's like basically just like a cliff, and then like trees are like hanging off, like, and it's like the erosion and everything. And it's really pretty, and it's like maybe a 15-minute boat ride.
Cool.
So my dad was like, I want to take all of these people to the Chimney Bluffs. He's like, I don't care that it's rough out. Like, we'll get with it. I'm like, I'm in the front of the boat with all the other kids being like, this is amazing. This is like a roller coaster. Because we're like, the waves were like so bad, we're like catching air. Like, the boat wasn't catching air. Like, the children were like catching air. So we're like, again, like, I'm loving it. I'm like, this is so good. We got to do this more. I love it. When I still like, I'm going to tell this whole story, and I literally am still like, when the bay is this way, it's my favorite time to go out on it. Which makes no sense. So we like go to the Chimney Bluffs. My dad's like, all right, time to go. Like, that's been enough of this. People are like gonna start getting sick. And then the front of the boat just goes down with a wave. Like the wave, like the water drops, the boat's going down with it, and then you just hear like a big crash. And the front of the boat comes back up, and it's just caved in. Like there's like, we hit the biggest boulder, and like the fact that like the wave went deep enough down. And it just like fried pummeled and huge dent. Not going well. I'm in the front still being like, this is crazy. What are we doing? Like, my dad and my mother freaking out, literally counting people on the boat, counting life vests. Like, they're like trying to be like, how can Virgie get to the shore when she has oxygen? Like, how are we gonna make sure her oxygen tank doesn't get wet? And I'm literally in the front being like, you guys see this? These waves are insane right now. I'm like, should we get the tube out? Like, I'm like, this is amazing. I literally was up there and be like, I think I'm gonna catch a fish. Like, they finally were like, hey kids, we need you back here. Like, they like put the little gate up, and then it was just like, everyone on the boat was so scared except for like me and all the kids, just like chilling, and like we, thank God, made it like back to our cottage.
Okay.
But like after that, boat immediately sold. No more boat. No more any of that. I don't think my grandma ever went even out on the dock again after that. She was just like, she's like, I'm good up here. I'm good watching. And then, now we don't have a boat.
I'm just saying, if your mom ever decides to go on a week vacation without your dad, he won't live forever.
No.
I'm so scared for your dad now every time your mom leaves for a day.
No, but I feel like half the time too, though, like my mom is contributing to the reasons.
In none of these stories so far has she been
this one, apparently it's a very common boulder to hit when the waves are like that.
Okay.
But they can't put a buoy on it because it gets too choppy. And but it's like, I don't know. Apparently a lot of people have hit that boulder.
Nice.
But now we have no boat.
I like that was also a traumatic story, but you didn't experience the trauma because
not at all. I was living
such a
my
fun time.
life.
Yeah.
And like now, like looking back, I'm like, oh, if I was like an adult on that boat, I'd be freaking. I would they let me sit up there for a while. I was like, I would have been putting life. I would have been strapping them on. I would have been throwing kids.
Oh, you guys would have had life vests on before if I was on the boat and adult.
We might have had life vests.
You would have had life vests on. Okay, good.
No, because my mom is like a little insane about water safety.
That's not insane. You're 5 years old. The water's it's 4 foot, 5 foot waves. You guys should have been in life vests.
Okay, yeah, no, we were definitely in life vests.
I'm never having kids. Thank God I'm never having kids. I would be freaked out all the time.
We were in life vests.
I took my sisters out to the movies when they would hit 5. I would be like, all right, I'm taking them out to the movies. And then the entire time I would just be worried that I wasn't paying enough attention and somebody was going to steal them or kidnap them. God, I'm never having kids. So, anyways, you guys survived that. Obviously,
We survived that.
All the kids lived through that. Even your brother, whose name is Trip.
So it's Trip is a nickname.
Okay.
He's Ronald Guy Bajorek III, and then Trip stands for triple.
Okay, cool. Got it. I wonder if the other Trip that I know is actually just the third of something. Because his real name is Richard.
Yeah, he's probably the third.
Okay.
I thought I came up with that.
Oh.
And I was like 5, and I was like, why don't we call him Trip for triple? My parents are like, you little baby genius. And now I keep meeting other Trips that are the third, and I'm like...
Well, you still came up with that separate from those other people.
Yeah.
You're so clever, buddy. What a smarty. So that wasn't your only water issue. Who were the annoying people? Who were the annoying people that you had to spend time with in the water?
Oh, that one was in Italy this past summer.
Okay.
It was like a whole, I don't even know. This story is insane. Which also might be like a trauma one. Basically, we were in this teeny tiny little itty bitty town in Italy at an Airbnb. I'm with my friend Joy and 2 of her roommates from college. And we meet these Irishmen at there are 2 restaurants in town, and one of them was booked. So we had to go to the other one. And it was like big living room, like literally Animal Planet on, children watching it. It was amazing. Delicious food.
Yeah,
like, it was amazing. But like, we walk in, it's like 4 of us girls, and we just like see a table of like men around our age. And it literally took us getting through the entire meal to realize that they were also speaking English because they had such thick Irish accents that we were just like oblivious. And then they like came over to our table as they were leaving. They were like, oh, we're gonna go to this bar. You guys should come. They had one bar in town. It's just like, yeah, we probably would end up there anyways. We go to the bar. The guy that runs it is like giving like us, he's giving us his homemade wine. He's giving us plums that he grew in the backyard. Like he's like spoiling us. We're there, like we're singing Irish shanties, like Irish drinking songs, and we're like, what is happening? Like we're basically just like, I have no idea what is going on. And then they were like, oh, why don't you come back to our Airbnb for a sing-song? And I was like, I would love to go home, but my other friends were like, a sing-song? Why not? And I was like, all right.
Can we pause it? Were your friends like a sing-song? Why not? Or were they like, these guys are attractive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm only asking because I really don't know what women are thinking of points like this. Okay, cool.
They were like, oh, they're cute. We should. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna, because if God forbid anything happened to you 3, and I'm just at the Airbnb, I'm gonna feel like a real asshole. Well,
okay.
So I'm like, obviously I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could probably take all of them. Like, I'm like, I have like mentality for like all of this. I'm like, I can fight better than you 3.
Yeah.
So
you can't tell because we're sitting on the couch, but Leah's like 4'6".
No, I'm not.
I actually met her at a midget tossing conference, and she was the top midget tossed. So, anyways.
I'm above average height.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing.
No,
with
I know. I just like.
I just like saying.
I've like
short.
Googled it, and I'm above.
Oh yeah.
Average is like 5'4".
Okay, my penis is above average too. I Googled it. Okay, it's 4.5 inches. That's above average. Okay. Anyways, I'm just joking.
No.
It's smaller than that. So you are gonna take them out. I feel like you probably could take out
I'm not
a
like
dude or 2.
Yeah.
Because of
internalized rage.
Yeah. Yeah. You have like an edgelord energy to
Thank you so much.
Yeah, like I'm threatened by you.
Thank you. That means the world.
You're welcome.
Oh, well, I can sleep well tonight. That's why I literally don't drink that much anymore, because I would go to bars and then find the largest man there and then go up to him and say, I can take you in a fight.
Oh, wow.
What is that going to do for, like, how is that going to end? Either he's going to accept it and then I'm not going to win.
I think he's going to assume that you're flirting with him and just have a nice
No,
cover.
because I would literally be like, I can take you.
Really? Alright, fair enough.
And then he'd be like, what? And then be like, you're lucky I'm feeling that. My friends would like drag me away and like, we're so sorry about her.
So these are the same friends that you're going to this Irish Airbnb, or the friends that would stop you from these fights?
One of them. Well, I met 2 of these girls at the Irish Airbnb in Italy, like when I got there, because they were my friends, roommates from college.
Okay.
Like we like kind of like did like a combined roommate reunion, and then me and Joy just wanted to go to Italy.
Yeah.
And it's like cheaper to split stuff.
Absolutely.
With a lot more people.
Yeah. So you're going for a sing-song.
So we went for a sing-song, and one of my friends from that night just had a little too much to drink.
Yeah.
So she was like vomiting.
Oh.
Not doing well. I'm upstairs like laughing about some traumatics. Oh yeah, I was upstairs telling them about how my grandma just died. But I was like laughing about it. Like not like I'm destroyed about it, like still. And like this is like my grandma passed away in September of last year, and I was there in August. Yeah.
Okay, so you're about a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'm so dumb. It was literally like, there's no way it was a month after my grandma died, I went to Italy, because that's not how August.
I like how much you call yourself dumb, but your mom's like, she's a genius.
No, my mom, I like will tell her things. I'm like, I'm so stupid, or like she'll meet like comedian friends, and I'll like say something, and be like, oh, I'm so dumb, and then she'll, they don't know how smart you are, and I'm like, no, I say dumb things. I literally just thought August was after September, so I wouldn't say that's the smartest thing I've ever said. I would say that is dumb.
So you're upstairs, you're crying
Upstairs.
to these
No, I wasn't
Irish
even
guys.
crying, I was just like laughing.
Sorry, you're laughing, yeah.
Because I'm like, why am I telling you guys this? This isn't funny. This is not what you want from me right now. Like, you guys probably want to like make out or something, and I'm literally like looking out the window dramatically, being like, yeah, my grandma died. And then I'd like be like, and then I'd be like really serious, like, my grandma died. It was really sad. And then I'd like turn and like look at them and be like, I'm so sorry. That's such a weird thing for me to like put on you right now. And they're literally like, what is going on? Girlfriend's downstairs like throwing up. I like am finally like, I should go help take care of that. Stop traumatizing these Irish men upstairs. We like finally get her. She's like, we're like, oh, she's not doing well. Like, we're gonna try to get her home. And then this one Irish man comes in, and he's just like, in the thickest Irish accent. I'm just like, hey, like, do you mind, like, can you just like leave for a second? Like, we're gonna get this like figured out. And he's like, I've had enough to hear with you girls. Like, I've had a friend die like this, like, going off. And I'm like, dude, she's not gonna die. She's just is throwing up a lot, and like just like went off, like straight anger issues. And then like me and my friend Joy like immediately snapped, because we're like, oh no, like honestly, like you've been like so great, this has been so helpful, like, because we went from being like, you need to like leave, to like, oh, I understand what's going on, you have anger problems, and like, we need to like stroke your ego a little bit now to know like that we're like, oh my god, no, you've been like so amazing, so great, everything. It's just like what we need right now is, again, you've been amazing. We just need to like get her home. And then I literally like went into their kitchen. I like cleaned up for them. I was like, we just need everyone to calm down right now. Like, so what I'm gonna do, like, you've been amazing. Again, thank you so much. I'm gonna clean up the kitchen, make sure we're all set before we leave. Again, thank you for everything. And then we like finally, we get her home. We get like no sleep at all that night. Honestly, like me and the other 3 girls are like, we're like decompressing on like the balcony as like the sun is coming up, and like, what just happened. And then we had plans to go to this like adorable, gorgeous beach, and it was a nightmare to get there. Okay. Because we're in a teeny tiny town. Yeah. And like the buses, that like, I speak enough Italian to like introduce myself and say that I took Italian when I was a child. Okay. But like,
I know how to say I am a handsome actor in Italian, and that's it.
That's good, and that can get you far.
Oh yeah.
But we show up to the beach, and we're like in the water, and it's gorgeous. I'm exhausted, but I'm like, whatever, it's fine, into the water. And then just like the Irishmen arrive, but like we didn't even realize they arrived. They just like were on floats, and they just like slowly like pulled up, and we were all just like, they're like, oh hey, how are you? And they're like, oh, how are you feeling? I'm like, it was just like one of those things where it's like, oh, cool. We had no idea you would also be here today after what a fun night we had last night. I literally, like, I fell asleep on that beach. I was exhausted. Yeah, but I mean, like, that isn't as bad as, like, almost drowning.
No.
Mine was just, like...
It's close, though. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
It was, like, a great time once you, like... And they were, like, Irish, too, so they're, like, covered head to toe in sunscreen, too. It was so, like, they were, like, covered in sunscreen, and they brought their own floats. And they just, like, literally, like... we were, like, treading water, and then just, like, this float. And I was like, this has been so fun. I have to go sit over there and like stare out. And this is gorgeous what's happening. You guys didn't have to come. Yeah, that one.
Nice. So the final part of the trilogy of trauma on the high seas for you, the jet ski.
Okay, the jet ski.
Yeah.
We have like so many funny, this one's like back in the cottage. I have like this is just like a little fun anecdote. One time someone left one of our jet skis running.
Did you see antidote?
Yeah.
Anecdote. Antidotes give someone when they have poison.
Same thing. The C is silent. You just say it fast enough and people... You know what I not realize? When I was like 17, someone told me it's an exclamation point, not an explanation point.
When I was 17, somebody told me that it was outfit instead of outfit.
I think that one's worse.
Yeah,
I still say explanation point.
No, you're still smarter than me.
You say it fast enough and people like don't question it.
Yeah.
You just say it fast and with confidence and then you keep moving.
Yeah.
So a little anecdote. It doesn't feel as good in my mouth. One time someone left one of our jet skis like in neutral, and they didn't realize it. And by the time they realized it, it made it all the way to the other side of the bay, and they had to like go and like take kayaks and like bring it back. But no, this time was so my dad got jet skis from his cousins that were old. Like he was like, oh, I know a guy, and then got these like shitty little jet skis. And my dad took me and his friend's daughter Cassidy out to the lake again on this jet ski. And my dad is a bigger man.
Was Cassidy one of the kids in the original story?
Yeah, she was one of the kids in the original story. I don't
Okay.
know why they would ever trust my father to
I don't know either.
take us all. I don't know timeline when this was, before or after the boat. But we go out onto the lake, and it's choppy, not as crazy choppy. We're like having fun. Me and Cassie are sitting in the front. My dad's like running it. My dad, again, bigger man. And then we flip the jet ski. And when you flip a jet ski, ideally there's one way that you flip it so it doesn't get like completely waterlogged. Like you're like fucked. And obviously we didn't mean to flip it, so we didn't do it.
Sure.
And then we're just like in this shallow area right by the channel. And me and Cassie would get on the jet ski, and then my dad would get on, and the thing would flip. And he thought we were messing with him. We're like, no, you're just a little bit, like it's hard. We're too, so yeah, we're small, but like you're taking up a good chunk of this jet ski. Like we're doing our best. And he was getting so mad because he thought we were flipping it on purpose. And we thought we were just messing with him. I'm like, we're not smart. We're literally children. It was funny the first time. We're ready to go. We're hungry. Corn on the cob is being grilled, okay? I want my food. And he finally gets it. So he's on the jet ski too. And then the thing won't start because it's full of water.
Yeah.
It's like an old jet ski. And finally this one guy comes over. And he's like, hey, like, are you guys like okay? And my dad's like, yeah, it's not working, like we kind of need a tow. And the guy's like, well, I can't really tow all three of you. And then my dad's like, yeah, why don't you just take these two? So we're like, all right, we go on. And like, it was, you could see like where we were going, like
Sure.
you could watch us the entire time.
Yeah.
But like,
But you're little kids, you're not thinking about
we're kids, and we just like get on the jet ski with this man, and it's like a much nicer jet ski. The guy's like beefy, like he's like built, like long hair. And my mom, you know, like always tells this story too. She's like, I was like, say less, man. I'm hungry. Like, sure. We left my dad there with the jet ski. We get on the jet ski with this man. He goes, drops us off. I like point him out, whatever. My mom tells a story. She's like, I just was looking, like you guys were out for a while, and then I looked up and I was like, who is this man? I was like, that's not my husband, but that is my child. What is going on? But who is he? Like, she was like, wow. She was like, he was fine on the eyes. And like, he had to explain to like that, because like me and Cassidy were like, I don't know, we just, jet ski wasn't working.
Is your mom a Civil War era plantation owner's wife? He was fine on the eyes.
Exactly how she talks.
I love
like,
her.
Oh, he was great.
I love her.
She's an amazing woman.
So
but then
much.
the guy had to go back and actually tow my dad. So the first time it was like this like Baywatch. Like he's like with like us, he like rescued us, and then the second time he comes back and he's just towing my dad on the back, and my dad's like miserable, like pouting, like angry. You should have just left him there. Like, you can stay. He's had enough. He's the reason the jet ski kept flipping. She's like, he could stand to not eat this meal tonight. You should have his. But that was like another one of those ones. I feel like a lot of mine are like, I tell these stories and I'm like, oh yeah, we just like got a ride home from like this. And I'm like telling it and then people are like, what? Telling it?
I definitely used to hitchhike a lot when I lived in Chicago, but I feel like the people in Chicago were just so kind and polite that like if you got serial killed by a Chicagoan, they would be apologizing the entire time. They'd be so friendly about it that I was like, yeah, you know
like
what?
Stabbing you and being like, I'm so sorry, I have to do this right now.
Do you need more painkillers before I get to the next part?
Yeah, honestly, should I just insulin between the toes?
Yeah. Do you want to die first and then I'll do that?
Yeah. Should I just like put you down nicely?
Yeah.
And then I'll make it look like I did a real number.
So before we get to the fifth story, there's a couple of things. There was a question sent in from another comedian.
I'm so excited for this.
Me too, because I don't know, and he didn't know if this was something that you've really experienced.
Okay, I also don't know what I say half the time.
Right, which is going to be interesting. So maybe you were just saying something and it wasn't true at all.
Maybe.
You could have just been lying. But this is from Anthony Raemel Vines of Vines Productions.
Okay.
Anthony wanted to know, what are your thoughts about pets dying on vacation?
Oh, I have a whole bit about this. He loves it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do the whole bit?
I could also just add the bit in. I can edit the bit in if you prefer.
I don't know if I have like a good recording of it.
Oh, well then I guess you need to do the bit.
Basically I have this, like, my dog is an ESA.
I'm sorry, what ESA?
Emotional support animal.
Oh.
And it's mainly because I wanted her to fly with me on airplanes.
Sure.
Like I probably need it. But there were a lot of dogs dying on airplanes. And I was like, honestly, there's like a best case scenario and a worst case scenario for your dog dying on an airplane.
Yeah.
Is like what my thoughts are. Because the best case scenario is like they die on the way home. So you like get like all these like nice photos of them. You can have like a proper backyard burial. You have like all these fond memories. Like the worst case scenario is they die on the way there. And then you like land in Hawaii and the flight attendant is like, hi, welcome to Hawaii, 76 degrees, sunny. Also, if you're in 8B, we have some bad news for you. It's like you have to like rearrange your entire vacation to like hike up the volcano like a day earlier, to throw your dead dog in because she was a virgin.
Yeah.
And it's like you find out why they sell luggage at the airport, put your dead dog in.
The most traumatic part of that story for me is that you picked seat 8B, which means that you were sitting in the center. Why would you choose that seat? You're better, Alia, you're better than that.
I'm better than that, but 8 is pretty good. That's probably like business.
I guess I like sitting...
To Hawaii? Business to Hawaii?
Oh, wow.
I might sit in middle if I got extra legroom. Also, business might only be 2.
You're right.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Treat myself very nicely in that joke.
Yeah.
I treat my dog very poorly.
Yeah.
But like that is why she's an ESA, so that'll never happen.
There was a time period where specifically United Airlines was having a lot of
dogs
issues.
were dying.
And what happens is they freeze to death underneath. It gets too cold in there and they freeze to death.
There was one case where it was in an airplane and they told the woman that her dog had to go in the overhead compartment.
Yeah.
And then it suffocated.
Yeah.
So I was like,
That's a horrible death.
That's awful.
Have you ever read Frankenstein?
No, but it's on my list.
Well, I guess I'm not giving anything away.
Well,
Frankenstein's
I know
monster.
the idea.
Yeah. But Frankenstein's monster kills a few people before he realizes what death is.
Right.
He's becoming sentient at this point, and he chokes them to death. And then he becomes sentient and starts to realize what he's done. And I feel like that's part of the book that they never talk about, that he has to come to terms with the fact that he didn't kill someone quickly. They had a very slow, painful death that he caused.
Yeah.
It must have been very hard on the monster. So I feel like the monster is very sympathetic, and I feel like Dr. Frankenstein's the real monster. So, which is whatever he feels. That
doesn't feel like a hot take.
Not at all. It's a very lukewarm take.
That feels like the usual take.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm not famous as a stand-up yet. Maybe I need some hotter takes.
Honestly, Frankenstein, kind of a cool dude.
I don't think Donald Trump was the best president.
Honestly, what we need more of is... I don't know, I can't think of any hot takes now and I'm scared too.
Sliced bread was good for society. It speeds things up. You don't have to slice it yourself.
You're just saying...
What?
You're like, and another thing. I do think that maybe you should eat 3 meals a day. I'll say it.
Breakfast is important. School is good. People should be somewhat educated.
Learning how to read is an important skill for your day-to-day life.
Yes, absolutely. Knowing the difference between a red light and a green light is probably helpul for people.
That's a really...
Hot take.
That's a hot take.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets confusing and you're like, I don't know which is up, which is down. If I have glasses on, it all looks the same. Because it just like starts getting like, No?
Neither should your dad.
No, he's... Maybe not.
So, this is the part of the podcast where we threaten the audience if they don't subscribe or follow to us.
Okay.
If you don't subscribe or follow to this podcast, whatever it is that you're supposed to do on the platform you're on, I'm going to give Alia's dad your address, and he's going to drive through your home.
And he'll do it really, really, really well, because I'll take his contacts away beforehand, so he won't even be able to see.
Yeah.
If you don't like, follow, and subscribe, I'm gonna go to Antarctica and paint a mural of you doing really bad things.
What?
Yeah, like taking candy from a baby. And I'm gonna tell people I had a real photo of you doing that.
Oh my gosh.
I'll drop the real photo.
Yeah, and then she'll go on one of those AI sites and type in all that info, and the AI site will just make that photo anyways.
Yeah.
And then you're screwed.
And then you're done for.
Done.
And then you're D-U-N done.
D-U-N done. If you don't subscribe to this, I'm going to go to the Bilderberger retreat and tell all of the world's billionaires that you think that plain hummus is the best hummus. Nothing in it. Plain, how embarrassing for you. They're all going to look down on you. Did you say you don't mind plain hummus? I'm not saying you mind plain hummus. I'm just saying it's not the best. I'm saying this person that didn't subscribe, they think plain hummus is the best.
I don't know.
Obviously not. You think plain hummus is the best?
Yeah. Like a good plain hummus? No, I'd be with them.
You think that's the number one? You think it's better than garlic hummus?
Yeah. I love garlic.
I feel like I don't even know you.
I love garlic, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like a really good bougie plain hummus, I don't think it needs the extra.
Alright.
Listen, if you're working with like already borderline perfection, why do we have to add more to it?
What's your go-to hummus?
Ithaca hummus.
Okay.
Sponsor post.
No, Ithaca hummus is great.
Ithaca hummus, lemon, garlic.
Would you say lemon garlic is better than their plain hummus?
I don't know.
Exactly. So
no, lemon dill. That one's delicious.
I like their beet hummus.
Do you want us bad? No, I don't want to say it if it's gonna.
What?
No, because there's a pickle company that I'll just say it. Grillo's Pickles did a collab with Ithaca Hummus. Grillo's Pickles are heavenly, and Ithaca Hummus is amazing.
Right.
They should never have done that. It was bad.
Oh, okay.
It's just the texture.
Yeah.
You can't have like a hummus texture with a pickle taste.
Yeah.
But Grillo's Pickle de Gallo, spicy. Best thing I've ever eaten in my entire life.
It's like having sex with someone that you thought was going to be really great, and then you get there and you're just like, oh,
it's exactly how this
our friendship is ruined now. Yeah, or my fantasies about this person just done. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, that's good. Grillo's Hummus or Grillo's Pickles, Ithaca Hummus. If you're listening, make sure to subscribe right now, or we will insult you every show.
You're doing great work though. Separately.
Yeah.
Please never.
State of worst. So we are here at the moment of your most traumatic experience that you're willing to talk about on the show ever. Tell us about what it's like to be in Marfa, Texas.
Oh my God, Marfa, Texas. First of all, highly recommend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. It's like very artsy.
Where is it?
It is, I think, like a 3-hour drive from Austin.
Of course.
And it's like very like art. So I was living in Austin for the pandemic for January 2021 through April of 2021 with a family and nanny. And in my head, I had this whole like idea where they knew I was like leaving. I saved a ton of money. I was like, I'm moving to New York City, but I had my car down there. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, it was like her bucket list. She always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. So I was like, hey mom, let's go to the Grand Canyon. We're so close. She's like, I don't think you understand how far away Texas is from Arizona.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but I mean, we're also closer than we ever have been. Well, me. She was in Rochester. She had to fly to Austin. So I had this like brilliant idea. We were gonna road trip because I had to drive my car to New York anyways.
Yeah.
So she comes into town. It was like right around her birthday. This was like her birthday trip. And my aunt like surprised her by like paying for us to get like manicures and pedicures.
That doesn't sound very mean of her.
No, different aunt.
Yeah, Marcia.
This was Lisa.
Marcia paid for some mani-pedis for your brat. These. I almost called you nephew. What the? Okay.
Pay for my brothers too.
Yeah. Boys deserve mani-pedis.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lisa paid.
I don't care. So Lisa we got our nails done. And my mom is like a very like things have to be fast type person.
Yeah. In
this nail place, they did a great job, but they took their time. We
Yeah.
were there for like 3 hours. She likes to be in and out in under 90 minutes. Like, she's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I got like a fun little design. Like they were like painting, like they painted 2 little frogs on my fingernails.
Oh.
So cute. But my mom was like over in the corner, like her eye was twitching because she's like, we need to go. So we go to Marfa that night. She like booked us like to stay at like a little yurt. Mm-hmm. Super cute. Mm-hmm. But
that's every white woman's dream.
It was so cute.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
Listen.
Highly recommend it. Go to Marfa, stay in the yurt.
My spirit animal is a white woman. I love yurts. Yeah. Sure.
Yurts are great.
Yeah.
Yurts are, I learned this the hard way. At least the one I stayed at, the yurt door was about here, like maybe half an inch shorter than me. And I didn't realize every single time. So I whacked my head on that yurt door. I mean, we were only there for like a night.
Yeah.
But every time I went in and out. Also, hold on, I'll just finish the whole story. Because that has to do with like later. We're driving to Marfa. She has to pull over to get gas. And like she wanted to get like a Red Bull or something. So it was like 3 hours, pretty late. And I'm like, my eye was like hurting a little bit. And I thought that I ripped a contact in my eye. So I'm like, took my contacts out and I'm so blind. Like I'm like negative 4.25.
Yeah.
Like I can't see anything. Like I'm no help if I have no contacts or glasses. Like it's bad.
Okay, you're a Velma.
Literally.
Yeah.
So I took my contacts out and my eye was just like hurting and my mom pulled in, she like went inside to get Red Bull and like something. So I text her because I like look at my eye and it's just like very swollen around my eyebrow. And I got my eyebrows done that day too. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm having like a little allergic reaction. But I was like, that's also weird. Like it shouldn't have been that long.
Yeah.
But I asked my mom to get me Benadryl cream before she went in. Because I was like, oh, that's like a little weird. Like I'll just like put something on it. I'm sure it's like just a little thing. And then I'm like staring at myself in the mirror.
Okay.
While my mom is in there. And I'm like inches away from like, and it's like the car mirror.
Yeah.
I'm like inches away and I'm like looking and I'm like, why is my eye swelling right now? I'm like, this is weird. And then my head too, I'm like, oh, I just ripped a contact. Like, but I've never had this bad of like a reaction to me ripping a contact. And I called my mom because I'm like, hey, maybe she should give me Benadryl. She left her phone in the car. And I'm literally like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like looking at what I think is where the gas station is that she went into, and it's huge. And I'm like, there's no chance I'll be able to find her. She has no phone. I can't see. And I'm literally just sitting there and I'm like, I have to just wait it out. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, am I dying? Is this anaphylactic shock? And I'm like, no, you idiot. Like, it's just your contact ripped. So she finally like comes back out and I'm like in the car being like, what is happening? I like locked the doors because I'm like paranoid too. I'm like so scared. And it's like nighttime. I'm like locked the doors and I'm just in there and like I don't know what's going on. I don't like it. My mom finally comes back out. She didn't hear me say Benadryl cream. She just heard me say Benadryl. So she ended up buying me Benadryl and she just like looks at me and she goes, you should take 2 of these. Like wasn't trying to get me like stressed or anything. She knew I was going into anaphylactic shock and she was remaining as calm as possible. And I was like, okay, cool, like, yeah, I'll take it. And then I popped the 2 Benadryl, and I'm, like, nodding off, because Benadryl will conk me. And then my mom is like, hey, Aaliyah, like, maybe we should, like, just go to urgent care and get your, like, eye flushed out. And I'm like, why? It's just a ripped contact. Keep driving. And we're going, like, Marfa's middle of nowhere. There's nothing in Marfa.
Sure.
Like, it's just, like, a little artsy town, and, like, I don't even think there's a gas station. Like, it's nothing. So my mom was like, maybe just, like, for me, like, why don't you just look up where the nearest hospital is? And I'm like, no, I'm not going. It's a ripped contact. I've had this before. Like, I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, oh, like, it was just like a weird little thing. I took Benadryl. Like, I didn't really even need that. And my mom is literally like, you should take more. She's like, I think you should take a little more Benadryl. And I'm like, why? It's a ripped contact. Meanwhile, my eye is swelling shut. I'm like, this is a weird reaction to a contact ripping. It's completely swollen. Like, my entire right side of my face is just a balloon. Yeah. And I'm literally like, that's crazy that contacts can do that to somebody. It's so amazing she thinks I'm smart still. Like, after that and she's just like remaining calm. She knew exactly what was going on. So we finally get to where we were staying in Marfa. Yeah. And she like goes and checks in. I'm just like in the car because I can't see anything. She was also so mean to me. I was like, no help with directions. And she's yelling at me and I'm literally over there crying like, I can't open my right eye right now and I can't see to begin with. And then she called me Helen Keller. She's like, it's like driving with Helen Keller. And I'm like, I'm not doing well. Like, I'm like, and I still at this point, no idea I was anaphylactic shock. Not a clue. I'm just like, Mom, my eye won't open. She's like, I told you we should have gone to urgent care. I'm like, what are they going to do? Take a contact out? I can do that on my own. So we get there. My mom goes in, gets the keys, and then comes back and gets me. I'm like bundled up. I'm half asleep. She's yelling at me, calling me Helen Keller still. And I'm like, that's not nice. That is so mean. I'm not doing, like, why are you kicking me while I'm down? Half of my face is swollen right now. Why are we doing this? So I'm like bundled up in a blanket, nodding off because I've taken like 6 Benadryls, like so much Benadryl. My mom keeps me like, you should just take more. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna say no. Like, if anything, I'll just sleep really well tonight. So we get into the place. I just immediately crawl into bed, and I like am out for the night. The next morning, I wake up, and my mom goes on to tell me, she's like, hey, how did you sleep? You were having anaphylactic shock last night. No worries, you're fine now. I caught it soon enough. And I was like, why wouldn't you tell me that? She's like, I didn't want you to freak out. I'm like, no, that's something to freak out about. My body was shutting down. She's like, it's okay. Also, just so you know, there are no rattlesnakes in here. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, yeah, no, it's fine. When we were walking to the room, there was a huge sign, because it was like all outdoors.
Yeah.
We're in the desert. She's like, there's like a huge sign, and it said, beware of rattlesnakes and scorpions. And I'm like literally having flashbacks to the night before when I'm stomping around on Benadryl, like nobody's business, just being like, I just gotta make it to bed. Like, I'm like, you should have told me that. She's like, well, no, it's okay, because when you went to bed, I took my flashlight and I looked everywhere in the room. There were no rattlesnakes or scorpions, and it's okay. And I said, Mom, what would you have done if there was one? She said, I would have ran so fast. You would have ran, and I would have been asleep, not having any idea where I am, who I am, what's going on. I didn't even know I was in full-blown anaphylactic shock. She's like, I'm sorry. She's like, what do you do?
The thing that really stands out for me in that story is that you kept hitting your head on the door frame, and you must have felt so tall. You must have, every time it would happen, you'd be like, I am taller than the average woman. I like that you gave yourself a concussion while you had anaphylactic shock.
My face was like swollen for like a day and a half afterwards. So we like were going to all these really cute places, taking all these cute photos, and I have like 4 eyelids.
Like half of your face looks like one of those Botox women that walk around the city.
It was like terrifying. Because I have like big eyes to begin with, and like my eye, like I was like, I couldn't open it.
Do you have pictures?
Yeah.
Of your face? Well, you don't have to show me now. You can share it with me and I'll add it to the video.
Yeah.
Amazing.
My mom was also like taking photos, like laughing hysterically. She was like trying to get me to like take little, she's like, this yurt is so cute, like go take a picture there. Like in like a cute little dress, cheese in, and half of my face is like collapsed. And she's like laughing hysterically.
People walking by are like, oh, that lady sure loves her crippled child.
Yeah, they're like, oh wow, what a nice mom taking care of all these.
Here in Texas, we kill those children, just put them out into the desert and get eaten by rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes and scorpions.
Yeah.
Yeah, which also, I literally to this day, she's like, you would have had to fend for yourself. I'm like, you saw me. My body was shutting down. My body was shut down completely. Oh, and the craziest part, I have no idea what caused the anaphylactic shock. Not a single idea. And then I Googled it. It turns out sometimes you can just go into anaphylactic shock from nothing.
I mean, I was assuming it was going to be one of the chemicals inside of the place you got the mani-pedi.
But it was hours later.
Yeah.
Because usually anaphylactic shock is pretty fast.
Oh, okay.
Because like I have a peanut allergy, so if I eat peanuts, you kind of gotta like.
Yeah.
EpiPen. Mine isn't like that bad, but it's like,
You should really let the next time you're coming over to do a podcast, I definitely have peanut butter inside of this place.
No, I'm not.
Oh, all right.
Like I'm totally.
I also, for some reason, have.
You can't force feed me.
Yeah, I have a needle for anaphylactic shock here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Only because my mom has issues, so I was just like, I'll keep it here just in case she visits.
I don't have an EpiPen.
Or in case I want some adrenaline.
But I also probably should have an EpiPen.
Yeah.
Especially if I like went into random anaphylactic shock.
Yup.
Yeah, and that was like another day. Like me and my mom were telling that story the next day to everybody, and I'm like, yeah, I almost died last night laughing. I'm like, I almost died last night. She was calling me Helen Keller, and then everyone's like. I'm like, why are you guys not laughing? This is a funny little story. And they're like, you almost died. I'm like, but I didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's this thing with people where they'll have trauma and they'll hold on to it. And I'm not saying laughing about your trauma is the right solution or answer for everybody. I don't think there's one size that fits all. But I do think that just sitting on trauma and never getting past it, never finding a way to deal with it, is the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And if we get to laugh at it or make fun of it, it's so much healthier.
So much healthier. And it's like, what, do you want me to obsess every single day being like, well, I could also go into random anaphylactic shock right now?
Yeah.
No. But now I know the signs. And now I know, hey, if your eye is swollen shut, it's not because a contact ripped in it. Not at all.
Yeah.
Don't listen to anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I think that like the whole, I like always talk about this with my family, like we have like our like blow-ups and our fights and like whatever, but like my dad says something stupid I could bring it up tomorrow and be like, that was so dumb what you said, and then we're like laughing about it. Whereas like I know a lot of people, like if like something like big happens, it's like, oh, it's just like hush hush.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. But I think that like my whole family, like, all the time, it's like someone will do something so dumb and stupid, and then we'll laugh about it 20 minutes later. But it's like that person is probably like, oh yeah, like that was dumb, and they're like not feeling it. But like there's so many stories of me doing something stupid, and then like in the moment I'm like, that's, you guys can't laugh at this. But now I'm like, I cut my toe off with a stripper pole. Like, that's ridiculous.
Wait, you cut your toe off with a stripper pole?
Yeah.
That's not one of the 5 stories you chose?
It wasn't that
toe off
traumatic.
Did they reattach the toe?
Yeah, it's totally fine now. Stitches. I have like a whole bit about this one too.
I've never heard that
Really?
before. Okay, I will give you the URL for the bit, and I will put it in the description of this.
It's, yeah.
Yeah, I never knew you were a stripper.
I wasn't.
Oh.
I bought it during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Thinking I was like gonna get into really good shape.
Leave it to the pros.
I cut my toe off before I even put it together.
What? All right. How long is the story?
Not that long.
All right.
Okay. Pandemic happened. I was like, I'm gonna get a stripper pole. I ordered it on Amazon through my mother's account.
Is this in Austin, Texas, while you're with that family?
Chicago.
Okay.
I was with that family. No, I wasn't with that family yet.
Okay.
I was just like in limbo, apparently, at this point. Ordered a stripper pole on Amazon because I was like, hell yeah, I need to work out. This is a fun way to do it. Stripper pole came. I was so excited. And I open it up. I pick up one of like the tubes, and it was a cardboard tube, and there was tape on either side. And I pick it up vertically, and then the pole just comes flying through the tape at the bottom, landed on my toe. Landed on my right middle toe on my foot, which is a weird toe to hit because it's not at all, like my toes are like slanted down.
Yeah.
Like, why
Sure.
only that one? So weird.
Yeah.
But I was like screaming in pain. My ex was over at the time. She's losing her mind, laughing hysterically. 'Cause it's funny. And I'm like, I'm like screaming. I'm like, this is not funny. I like go into my room. I like limp
Were you guys
over.
broken up at that point, or this was before you broke up?
I think it was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wondering if she was laughing at you after you guys had broken up or before. Seems
No.
important. Okay.
So she's like laughing hysterically.
At what knuckle of the toe? I don't know if their toes are called knuckles.
It hit no bone, so it was like basically between the top,
Yeah.
in between my nail. So like when I grabbed my toe, I'm like screaming in pain. I like limp over. I'm like grabbing onto my bed, like looking at it, and I like I see that my toenail is like cracked. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'm like, oh, that's all good. Like, I had a cracked toenail before. Like, I did ballet for so many years. That's totally fine, A-okay. And then I, like, just grab it again, because, like, when something's in pain, you just, like, grab it. And then I, like, open it again, and my entire top of my toe just kind of flapped off. It was, like, 75% off of my body. And then at that point, I'm like, oh, we gotta do something. I, like, went into, like, panic mode. There's, like, a trail of my blood on the floor. I, like, walked into the bathroom, just sat in the tub, rinsed it off, like, got, like, gauze, taped my toe back on, and we gotta go. And then she drove me to urgent care. I also like fainted in the hallway, low key. Like I was like, we gotta go, and then I immediately closed the door, and then I had to lay down, and then I just like collapsed, and I was like, okay, we're good now. I'm so bad with blood. I went to urgent care, and it was COVID, so like no one was allowed in with me. I like left my mom a voicemail. They also, like, the woman was literally like, can you stand up here and do these things? I'm like, did you not understand what I told you when I said my toe got cut off? Like, what? And I, like, had it on ice. She was, like, annoyed she had to bring me the papers. I'm like, my toe is not connected to my body right now. It was on ice. I was, like, filling out the paper. I, like, called my mom, and she didn't pick up, so I, like, left her a voicemail and be crying, be like, hey, Mom, I'm in urgent care. My toe might have gotten cut off, but it's okay, like, if they can't put it back on, it's just a toe. Like, I literally said that to her, and then they took their time. I was in the waiting room for, like, 45 minutes.
They were dealing with a global pandemic.
It was empty there.
Your toe is the least important thing going on
Isn't
right
that
now.
a really important thing, though, to get it back on pretty fast?
I mean, not compared to COVID, but yes.
But the place was empty. Like, there was no one else in the waiting room.
All right.
No one else was in the waiting room. And
Fair
then
enough.
they finally, like, get me back. And then I have to explain to all of these doctors what happened. The woman, like, the main doctor was, like, 8 months pregnant. And I literally like was hysterically crying. I'm so bad. I'm so anxious at doctor's office. I'm so awful bad at doctor's. I'm hysterically crying, and my mom like FaceTimes me, so she's like on FaceTime with me. She's laughing at the story. I'm like, this isn't funny to laugh at me at a time of pain. And then like, so the doctors would come in and leave. I had to get a tetanus shot. I'm so out of shot. I'm literally like hysterical. And they were like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, no, not at all. But like, you guys are doing great. I'm not crying because it's your fault. I'm crying because why am I here? I hate it here. You guys suck so hard, but you're doing great at your job. Like, I'm literally like, they would come in and they're like, how are you? I'm like, I'm so good. How are you? And they're like, obviously you're not doing well. I'm like, yeah, but you guys need to be in a good mood when you reattach my toe. I don't want you to think that I hate you. I just want you to know that I hate everything you're doing, and I hate that you're gonna have to give me a shot, and I'm gonna scream and cry a lot. But know that you're doing good. It was so bad. The woman doing my stitches, 8 months pregnant, and I literally was like crying the entire time, and I was like, you'll be such a good mom. I was like, if you can put up with this, you can put up with anything. That it's amazing that you can do this. And my mom like, you know, it's like, you don't want to like just assume a woman's pregnant. So I like told my mom on the phone when there were no doctors in there, I'm like, the lady doing my stitches pregnant. And then my mom, loud mouth, as soon as the woman comes back in, my mom goes, well, is it a boy or a girl? And I'm like, Mom, I didn't know if she was actually pregnant. Like, I'm assuming she seems pregnant. I'm like, I don't know her life. So I'm like yelling at her about that. She's laughing hysterically. They're literally like, the woman doing my stitches, I was like screaming because they put Novocaine on my toe. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Novocaine in your toe is it only goes to the part that's like still fully connected. So
sure.
They like had me like put my foot like down so that it would like ideally drip into the part that wasn't fully connected. Did not happen.
Well, your feet also have an insane amount of free nerve endings,
Ooh.
Which is what you like. What experiences pain for you? Because it's really important. Because like we walk on our feet. If you step on something, you want to know that you're bleeding. So yeah, anything to do with your feet is going to be pretty painful.
Yeah, well, so the Novocaine worked on the part of my toe that was connected still.
Yeah.
But then the part that was not connected, I could still feel everything. So it was just like a whole awful, painful experience. And they had to glue my toenail together and 4 stitches. And I had the audacity while the woman was doing my stitches to be like, hey, you're doing great. I just want to know like how much longer this will take. Because I'm like, literally like, I'm like convulsing. Like, I've cried so hard, I've gotten hives before at doctor's offices. Like, I'm approaching that point. I'm like, I need to leave. I can't be here any longer. I'm doing my best. Like, full-blown convulsing. Like, I'm like, I'm not doing well. And she literally goes, well, it's kind of like a really precise thing that I'm doing right now. And I went, no, that's so fat. That's fair. You're great. You're doing amazing. Fundamentally, I hate doctors, but you're amazing. You're perfect. Like, I literally like kept like backtracking and all that. And then the stitches came out. It's like totally fine. You can't even tell now.
That's great.
Yeah. Pole is traumatizing though. I had to bring it to get returned.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have kept that. Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't have.
I also like had to explain to the guys at UPS because I couldn't get it fully undone.
Yeah.
And the guy at UPS was like, oh, my girlfriend has one of these. Immediately got it undone. I was like, he was like, why are you returning it? I'm like, I can't talk about that right now. Everyone thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, I almost lost my toe. I said goodbye to my toe. And everyone was like, that's so funny. I'm like, no, it's funny now. But I was like, that was the worst thing that could have happened.
That's wild that you didn't include that
I
in your
forgot
5
about
traumas.
That as a trauma one. I was like thinking like trauma's usually like not really.
I mean,
there can be trauma in adulthood.
Yeah.
But when I think like what are your most traumatic stories that shape like where you are now?
Fair enough. That was the question.
Like more comedy.
That was the question.
No, I was saying more.
Yeah. But like what the question is, what traumas have led you to your sense of humor? You have a very good sense of humor. I think people should probably go check it out on the internet. Where can they check out your sense of humor on the internet?
Instagram is at Alia.Bajorek. That is ALIA.BAJOREK. That's where I post most things. I'm on TikTok too, at Alia's Funny. Twitter, at Alia Bajorek.
Come to New York City and see her in a show.
Yeah, come.
She's up all the time. It's ridiculous.
Come hang out. My mom comes to half the shows anyways.
Yeah, come meet her mom.
She literally doesn't live here, and she's just at all of my shows. I was like going through clips the other day, and I kept mentioning that my mom was here. I was like, I just need to like compile these all into one thing.
Thank you for being comfortable coming to my creepy apartment and doing this.
Feels
so weird. After I decided to do it in my apartment, and then I looked at the list, I was like, oh, half of these are women that have never been to my apartment, but I just think they're funny. This is going to be awkward, so thanks so much.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
You're great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now go clean my dishes.
Yeah, no.
All right, no.